How to create an induction motor in Flux. Now we have the 3D modeler, where you can create easily your 3D geometry. For this case, I will use the sketcher, so I will create a 2D sketch, and after I will make an extrusion. Here I choose the plane YZ, and I will create first the rotor part and the stator part. Here is the stator part, and I will create the end ring. To make the extrusion, I have to create a reference line which will be the pivot of the extrusion. Now I can go out from this sketcher. I have here my faces in the modeler, and this reference line is not meshed, so it is only here to help you to create your extrusion or other tools of the modeler. Now I can make the extrusion. I choose the rotor part first. I choose an extrusion around axis. I choose here the axis I created and the angle. Okay, we have a preview here to check if the geometry is correct. I do the same for the stator part. I choose my axis here with an angle of 30. I check with the preview. And finally I do the same for the end ring. Okay, so now I have to create the rotor slots and the stator slots. For that I will go in the sketcher one more time, but this time with the plane XY. Here I can create the first rotor slots, and I will create a coordinate system to have the good angle of the slots. A cylindrical coordinate system which has a rotation of 95 degrees according to XYZ plane. Now I choose the coordinate system I created. I choose the radius. The angle is 0 with respect to the coordinate system. Okay. And now I create the stator slots. It is easier to create in the axis, in the central axis. I can modify my geometry. And then, to make the rotation of the slots, I have to create a reference line to have the pivot axis. Now I make the rotation of these slots. I choose the lines of the slots. I choose the pivot point and an angle of 5. Here I check. Okay. After I have to repeat these slots 2 times with 10 degrees repetition. So it's a circular repetition. I choose the lines, the pivot point, and the angle of 10, and the repetition of 2 times. Now I have to create the internal the internal arc of the stator. I have to correct those points. For that I will make a healing. I can delete the 2 points, and I can delete also those lines. And now I can go out from the sketcher. Here we have the faces we created, and I can make the extrusion. First, the extrusion of the rotor slots. So it's an extrusion along vector with a distance of 5. Okay, here I check. And I do the same for the stator slots. It's the same distance. And now to finish the geometry, I have to make the union between the end ring and the rotor bars. So I choose the rotor. First I choose the rotor bars, and here I choose the end ring. And as you can see here, we have one object. You see it in yellow. Finally, I have to make the assembly between the end ring and the rotor part. So I choose the rotor part here and the end ring with the bars. Okay, and I do the same for the stator part. I make the assembly between the stator and the stator slots. Okay. So now we finished the geometry. I can go out from the modeler and I can mesh it. Okay, so we finished the geometry.